Welcome to Lecture Online. So now let's start talking about Cepheid variables and why they are so important to astronomy. When were they discovered? Well, all the way back in 1784 by John Goodricke. And John Goodricke was a deaf-mute 19-year-old English amateur astronomer. Well, quite a feat for a young man like that. And he was able to figure out that over time, that star varied in brightness. So the first one that was found was called Delta Cepheid. Of course, delta, in the Greek alphabet, we have alpha, beta, gamma, delta. That's the fourth Greek letter in the alphabet, which means it is the fourth brightest star in the constellation Cepheid. And he noticed that it varied by as much as 2.3 times its dimmest magnitude. So it went from the dimmest to about 2.3 times as dim, which means, or as bright, which means about 1 magnitude in variation, and it did so every 5.4 days. Now, what's special about Cepheid variables is that they're very bright stars. Again, they were very large stars when they're on the main sequence. They're now red giants, so they're huge stars. You can see them for a very long distance. And they are right now in what we call the asymptotic branch, which means they're now in the instability strip and they're beginning to pulsate. So they're near the end cycle of their red giant stage. Now, the importance of them wasn't discovered until Henrietta Leavitt, she was a woman astronomer who back in 1912 decided she was going to study and try to figure out the relationship between Cepheid variables by looking at 25 Cepheid variables in the Large Magellanic Cloud, which is at a distance of about 170,000 light years. The result of that is that all those Cepheid variables are roughly the same distance from us. And she could see differences in brightness or luminosity between those 25 Cepheid variables and differences between their periodicity. And so what she tried to do is she tried to chart, and astronomers love graphs like this. She put this on a graph where she graphed the period versus the luminosity. And it turned out that when she did so, she found this very interesting and very important linear relationship between the period of the Cepheid variables and their luminosity as seen from the Earth. Since we're all at the same distance in the Large Magellanic Cloud, she was able to come up with that relationship. The result of that, of course, is that now when you see a Cepheid variable, you can simply measure the period, which is easy to measure. Then you find from the period, let's say that the period was 20 days, so you go up here. From that, you can find its intrinsic brightness. We can actually find how bright it actually is. Then we can measure the apparent brightness, compare those two to each other, and from that we can determine the distance to that Cepheid variable. So for the first time, we had a really good distance measure to objects far away, even galaxies beyond our own galaxy, and we're able to figure out how far it was to those galaxies and to those Cepheid variables by understanding the relationship between them. Of course, at the time, she wasn't quite sure yet what the absolute brightness was, but she was getting close to that relationship, and therefore we were able to use that information to come up with the ability to find distances using the brightness of Cepheid variables. We'll get more into those details later, but it was an amazing discovery. Of course, over the years, we've refined this chart so that now we have a very good way of measuring distances to various Cepheid variables and therefore the object that those Cepheid variables are in. So why is it important? Well, for the first time, we were able to find distance to objects in the far regions of our galaxy and as well in other galaxies beyond our own. We were never able to do that before. So this was an amazing discovery, which, by the way, Hubble ended up using to solve a very interesting problem that they've had at the time for like 100 years. We'll get into details of that later in a later video. So now we're going to look at the specifics of Cepheid variables, how they vary, how they change in size, how they vary in temperature and brightness and so forth in the videos to come. But again, if you're wondering why we're making this big hoopla about Cepheid variables, this is why. And Henrietta Leavitt is the one that helped us figure this out. An amazing discovery. So hurrah for women astronomers.
Yes, I'm sure there's plenty of them.
There are. They don't always get the recognition they should.
No, a lot of them are probably busy raising future astronomers.
Yeah. Okay. Ready for next video?